It's funny how when I'm about to do this live that I actually find this microphone, isn't it? Life, man. I don't know what to say, but yeah, how are you doing, everybody? Update on myself, actually. Yeah, I'm going to talk about an update on myself. Okay, so today, um, I got an email from my landlords. This is the most bizarre shit I've ever heard of. Okay, so I got an email from my landlords, right? And I'm over here thinking that okay, at first I'm thinking the accelerated repossession order was accepted and that I'd have 2 to 6 weeks to leave this property. So at first I was like, okay, I have a time frame as to when I'm expected to leave. But then I get on the phone to somebody else who's been in the same situation, and they said to me, Fabian, um, like, did they say that they have applied for a possession order or that their possession order has been accepted? I said they applied for it. They basically said that in the email. That means they haven't actually had a possession order accepted. Now, this is the part that's confusing me. They already applied for an accelerated repossession order on, I think it was the 16th of February that they got all those documents that they needed, and they handed it to me on the 23rd, I believe. So yeah, they informed me that they applied for it, and they gave me the paperwork to supplement it, like the forms to fill in to defend myself, right? Um, I get that handed in on the 25th. So got everything done, got it handed in on the 25th. All done, all good, right? So here I am thinking that I'm going to hear back from the courts who have basically said whether or not I'd be allowed to stay here. But no, instead, today I get an email from my landlords saying that they've applied for a repossession order and that I have 2 to 6 weeks to move out. And I'm thinking, I think again, I was supposed to be scared by this, but it just pissed me off because it's like, I just want clarity and I just want people to be fucking competent. So I'm over here getting angry at the incompetence because I'm a vulnerable person. I need to know where the fuck I'm going, and I don't necessarily need to know where the fuck I'm going, but I need to know when the fuck I am going so that I know how to organize myself. And here my landlords are, right, playing silly bollocks and coming to me with an email saying, oh, we've applied for another possession order. Why the fuck are you applying for a possession order when the first one that you apparently applied for hasn't even been decided by the courts yet? Why are you doing that? They did that to try and intimidate me. They did that to try and scare me. You know how I know that? Because whilst they were doing that shit, I feel anger rising up inside me in an unnatural way. That's the gangstalkers. That's the radio frequency. Yeah. So the whole point of today's exercise was to piss me. Well, it was supposed to actually scare me, but it just ended up pissing me off because, like, have some fucking competence about you. This is exactly what the gangstalkers do in order to drain you and drain your energy. They do stupid shit. That's exactly what they do. They do stupid, childish shit to drain you. So once again, the landlords let me know that they applied for another possession order, even though the first one hasn't even been completed yet by the courts yet. This is like, I like, it's just madness and stupidity, like, across the board. It's incredible. Just madness and stupidity everywhere. Like, I'm just like, yo, you know what I mean? Just tell me what is going on. You applied for a repossession order and it was accelerated. And I had the defense in on time. There should have been, like, unless the courts misplaced the paperwork, unless you didn't apply for it, there should be no reason why, as somebody who already handed in the defense, I'm getting another possession order, you're applying for another possession order before the courts have even decided what's going on. Incompetent shit. incompetent shit. Ridiculous. Redamn ridiculous. So instead of making me afraid, it just made me angry. Just tell me what's going on. It kind of frightens and staggers me how bloodthirsty people are when it comes to me, because it seems like in order for me to get basic respect and basic competence out of people, I have to put the fear of God into them. I don't even want to do that. I don't want to walk around like a fucking heated bear, like making people afraid. I don't want to fucking do that. I don't want to fucking go around like an angry bear all the time just to get people to give me some basic respect and stop treating me like a fucking circus animal. I don't want to have to constantly do that. It seems like I have to constantly do that because when it comes to me, people get bloodthirsty and relentless, and they do stupid shit because they think they're going to teach me a lesson. It shouldn't take all this, like, just to move out. This is ridiculous. It shouldn't take all this just to move out. Lord have mercy. It shouldn't take all this just to move the fuck out. Like, what is going on? And my thing is this, right? It's either the gang stalkers have got two options. It's either they can risk me being homeless and living in a tent somewhere, living in a tent city somewhere, and I do what I have to do. Because the way I see it, I'm a vulnerable person. I would be a vulnerable person living in a tent somewhere or living on the street somewhere. And, I would have been like incinerated or cheap labor anyway. So, you know what I mean? Like, I would have been in a detention center or cheap labor anyway. Given that people in this country like to attribute black skin to foreignness. But anyway, like, let's just say for argument's sake that the gang stalkers decide, okay, we've had enough of this arrogant bitch. Let's make her homeless. I can do what I need to do, because what do I lose by doing it? Nothing. I can do what I need to do with these perps. I can handle shit. If I decide I get fed up of people abusing me and people giving me shit and I'm on the street, I can handle shit. I can handle shit my way. So that's one of your options. One of your options, I can handle shit my way. Because you're just going to end up running me through the fucking Holocaust anyway. Have at it. So that's the first option. The second option is that you give me a home. You continue to fire these radio frequencies at me. You continue to abuse my body with directed energy weaponry and all kinds of other weaponry. Like, you continue to do this. That's your second option. You continue to do this, and you run the risk of me being violent again. You run the risk of me being violent again. You run the risk of neighbors around here getting violent. You run the risk of increased racism. You run the risk of increased endangerment, because you don't want to stop gang stalking. As long as you are gang stalking and as long as you are doing this, either way, you are in league with the Nazis and I'm fighting against the Nazis. So those are your options. It's either you give me a home and you take responsibility for everything that happens with regards to those radio frequencies being positioned outside the building, which are not just affecting me, but affecting the families that are asked to perp me. You accept responsibility for all the directed energy weapons that are fired into this building, that are fired at me, and the effects of what happens after that. You either accept the consequences of that, or you accept the consequences of when you leave me homeless with nowhere to stay. Those are your two options. Those are the two options that the gang stalkers are left with, because I'm not like the other TIs out here. I understand the stakes. And I understand that following the law is costing lives. I understand that. So those are your two options. You keep me here when I specifically told you that I don't want to stay here. If you keep me here when I've specifically said I don't want to stay here, and yet, you know, yeah, like if you keep me here when I specifically said I don't want to stay here, or if you keep me in any home and you continue to gang stalk me, you are going to be responsible for the consequences. That means the gang stalkers, the landlords, councils, everybody, all the authority figures involved in my case are responsible for whatever goes down. They are responsible, not me. At the same time, they decide to leave me homeless. Whatever happens, happens, babe. And I'm going to tell you right now, that doesn't guarantee that the perps will be able to do what they want to me. It doesn't guarantee that at all. Because like I said, I'm not like other TIs. I know how savage people can be with the homeless. I know how savage people can be with the homeless. And there's nothing that gives me greater pleasure than to be savage back to people who are horrible. I love that shit. That's the type of shit that I live for. I enjoy cruelty as much as the next person. But it's not fun when you're doing it to an innocent person. It's not fun for me. I don't like it. You put me out on the streets and you put me in contact with the kind of people who love to abuse homeless people, baby, I can get real inventive. I can get real fucking inventive. So those are your two choices. Those are the two choices that gang stalkers are left with. Why? Because gang stalking is happening in the first place. Those are the options that they're left with. The only way that anybody can get out of this is not to maim me, is not to kill me, it's for gang stalking to fucking stop. And it's not going to. So those are the gang stalkers' options. And in the meantime, I'm sick of this fucking incompetent shit. Stop trying to scare me, you're just going to piss me off more. If you want me out, you want me out, that's fine. I can live with that. But give me fucking clarity, because you're pissing me off. Give me clarity. You're pissing me the fuck off. Give me some clarity. Stop this fucking, like, trying to fucking scare people shit. Knock it off. And for the record, these new kids up here, get control of them. I'm sick of being treated like a sideshow attraction by you fucking idiots. Get your fucking tenants under fucking control. I tried to be a decent person. I tried to be the type of person, like I tried to be, protecting the vulnerable. And truth be told, I am still that person. But I'm not going to accept disrespect. Fix that shit. Fix that shit and fix it. Not even the kids. Fix the adults around here. I'm not accepting disrespect anymore. Fix that shit. Like I said, gang stalking would have to stop in a bid for all of this to wrap up, but it's not going to. So this is what we're left with. Unless people want to stop this right now, say Fabian Deacon was telling the truth, say we need to stop this, say we need to take this to Parliament and have them stop this, because everything that we're doing is facilitating billions of dollars of defense weaponry, unless they want to take whoever's responsible for gang stalking to the fucking Hague. This is the way we've got to play it. This is the way we've got to play it. So I made myself clear. And now I want to move on to the next topic, which is decidedly more trivial, but not really, because it revolves around like emotional destruction. Do you remember when I said to you guys that like emotional destruction revolved around making people vulnerable and unattractive? Well, it's kind of related to this, but not really related to this. People are still banging on about Sydney Sweeney, right? They're still banging on about Nazi Barbie. And Like, like a lot of people are saying she's ugly physically, like they're trying to say she's physically ugly. And I'm just like, really, bitch? Really? This is the thing that literally contributes to emotional destruction and keeps innocent people from being trafficked and killed and slipping through the cracks. This type of shit right here, because what the fuck do you mean she's ugly? You know damn well she is not physically ugly. You know damn fucking well she isn't. You know damn fucking well that it doesn't matter how much she sucks as a person. It doesn't matter how much fake tan goes wrong. It doesn't matter how much her hair sucks. It doesn't matter how much she gets lines in her neck. She's an attractive woman physically. You will not give her that, because then you would have to accept that this hierarchy of attractiveness that we've all created and that we've all contributed to rewards people who suck just as much as it rewards people who are kind and who are decent. In fact, it's more likely to reward people who fucking suck. And it's not because of looks either. It's because of the hierarchy of antisocial personality disorders. We're more likely to reward people who fucking suck. It is what it is. And every time we want to turn around and, and call someone easy to bully, even though, yeah, fuck Sydney Sweeney for life, even though we want to turn around and call somebody easy to bully ugly, like if it feels like if people do that, then they don't have to take any responsibility for how they treat people who are genuinely unattractive. Oh, they're ugly anyway, it doesn't matter. That's how people slip through the cracks and end up being killed off by a system that never cared about them. Shit like that. How the fuck are you going to turn around and say that attractive people do not benefit? People who are the opposite of emotionally destroyed. People who are not vulnerable and who are very attractive. How are you going to turn around and tell me that putting these types of people on a pedestal does not directly contribute to God knows how many innocent people going missing, being trafficked and being murdered, especially through gangstalking? Because emotional destruction, the point is to make you repulsed, right? So you lying about how ugly this woman is directly contributing to that. Because if you can convince yourself that she's ugly, then you can convince yourself that you don't have to care about her. Why should she need to be physically ugly for you to say, you know what, she sucks as a person? Let me not give her any more attention, because attention is money and I got shit to do. Instead of lying and saying, oh, she's ugly, just admit it. She's a pretty girl with a shitty personality. Just admit it. I have been surrounded all my life by people who are gorgeous. People who are gorgeous have the most fucked up, selfish, negligent, narcissistic, cowardly, bullying, spoiled, abusive personalities. And they get away with it every time because their looks make them superstars. Superstars. Do you understand? And then as soon as that beautiful person says something that somebody else disagrees with, oh, you're not pretty anymore. Fuck off. You don't want to admit that person's pretty because you don't want to admit what it says about you. That you're still attracted to them, that you still want to be them, that you still give them attention. You don't want to admit what that says about you. So you call them out the side, you call these people ugly out the side of your fucking neck. Bullshit. And if you think it doesn't tie into intersectionality, you're naive or delusional. It absolutely ties into intersectionality. I've experienced that in my own life. For 4.5 years, there was a 4.5 year campaign to fucking terrorize me into being sectioned because one cute little blonde girl got scared of a fucking laugh. Don't tell me that there isn't such a thing as pretty privilege. Don't tell me there isn't such a thing as white privilege. Don't tell me there isn't such a thing as privilege in general. Don't fucking sit there and lie to me and say that this person's ugly just because you want them to be. It doesn't work like that. The real reason why people want to say that Sydney Sweeney's ugly or that girls like Blake Lively are ugly, this is the real reason. Because it's their looks. It's us celebrating their looks. It's us celebrating how beautiful they are that got them to where they are in the first place. And if we were to turn around and admit that, yeah, these are beautiful women, but they fucking suck as people. Like literally villains, right? If we were to do that without calling them ugly, without downing their looks, if we were to do that, then we would have to work on how we perceive morality in relation to beauty. We would have some we would have some changes to make. We would have some hard work to do, and we don't want to do it. So we'd rather just lie and call these girls ugly when they're not. Because if we otherwise we have work to do. Otherwise we have work to do on ourselves. Otherwise society has to take responsibility for what it puts out there, for the hierarchies that it creates in accordance with looks, in accordance with race. Society would have to take responsibility, and society does not want to do that. As long as you keep lying and saying that people are ugly when they're not, or saying that people are pretty when they're not, and basically attributing morality to beauty, somebody can be attractive and not necessarily be beautiful, right? Like, it can happen. But as long as you're lying and saying somebody's physically not beautiful or physically this or physically that, as long as you're lying about that, you're actually maintaining the status quo. You're not changing it. As long as you keep saying people are physically beautiful when they're not, you're maintaining, like, even I've done it. There are people who I know who are like cool fucking people, amazing people, not necessarily the best looking person. But because somebody else said that they were fucking ugly and shit, I felt the need to throw my hat in the ring and say, oh no, you're beautiful. No. Average looking at best. I just felt the need to say that because I was sick of everybody being negative. So I did that out of pity, and I did that out of, I don't know, some need to be the good guy in a situation. But in the end, it was a disservice to that person, because like, they don't need to be, their entire worth as a person should not depend upon how consumable they are to the rest of us. It means like we have to change our hierarchy based on how decent a person is, based on not only meritocracy, but character. And society isn't ready to do that. So in the meantime, they're going to tell fucking lies, or they're going to be meaner than they should be, because again, we attribute hierarchy to morality. The higher you are on the physical ladder, physical and material ladder, is the more people are going to ascribe divinity to you, because they want what you have. And calling somebody like Sydney Sweeney ugly when she isn't, it just contributes to that. It serves the same purpose as kind of falling all over her and calling her a goddess. It serves the same purpose. It reinforces the status quo. Stop fucking attributing beauty to morality. Somebody's good looking, they're fucking good looking, dude. If somebody's ugly, they're fucking ugly. Let the shit be what it is, and stop judging people on how consumable they are to one another. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And do you think calling Sydney Sweeney ugly is going to make her less racist? For all you know, her getting rid of her racism, her being a better person, because it happened to me. My prettiest physical self, even though I wish it wasn't true, my prettiest physical self, it reflected my worst self internally. It's no coincidence that I'm not as pretty as I used to be, but I'm actually a better person. I'm I'm the type of person I can actually be proud of now. And I never thought I would say that about myself. I'm not as young and I'm not as attractive, but I am a fucking badass. And I know that. And I know that. And the swagger that I carry is that swagger of knowing the kind of torture and trafficking that I've not only survived through, but gained power from. That's a fucking badass. I don't care what anybody says. I don't need to care what anybody says. And when it comes to Sydney Sweeney, how do you know that her turning away from racism, her turning away from misogyny, her turning away from her self-hatred won't directly lead to her so-called glow down? How do you know that? This is exactly what I said. Shut the fuck up. Stop talking shit. You don't know what stop talking, stop lying. Stop lying. Because again, how do you know her being a better person won't lead to a glow down of some kind aesthetically? How do you know that? How do you know that? You don't know that. There are so many people who are gorgeous, who like we elevate, thinking that they're good people for doing basic shit. You don't know what kind of people they are, and you don't know what kind of people they would turn into if they were actually good people. You don't know what they would look like. What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ. And again, it makes a difference. It's important because again, emotional destruction, unattractiveness is part of it. You know, you render somebody unattractive and, you know, and vulnerable, because that's exactly what you're trying to do to Sydney Sweeney. You're trying to use humiliation to make her vulnerable, and you're trying to call her ugly so that she uglifies herself. And it's kind of working, honestly, with her roles. You're trying to make her vulnerable and unattractive so that even when she goes through the worst periods of her life, there's no one around to help her. And I can't say that I feel entirely sorry for her, because all she had to do was just say white supremacy is bad, and she refused to do it. Because I don't even think it was because of money. I think it's because her family are MAGA. Not MAGA, MAGA. MAGA. Let's call it what it is. I'm used to saying MAGA because of astrology. But it's MAGA. I don't even think she's a registered Republican for the fucking money. I don't even think it's that. I think it's just her family. I think she's a conservative. I think that's where she lives. That's where her morals are. So of course she's not going to call out white supremacy. Why would she? It's literally in her fucking family. Why would she? Fuck it. But yeah, stop calling people ugly when they ain't. It's a disservice. It's a disservice to the pursuit of justice as well, to try to aestheticize everything. Not everything is to be aestheticized. Quality of character and morality is not something that can be quantified to race, gender, the size of somebody's body, like the symmetrical nature of their face. Like, morality cannot be attributed to any of that. So fucking stop. The only thing that can be attributed to morality is how many resources you have and what you decide to do with them, and how you gain those resources. That is what decides your morality. Stop. Just fucking stop. Now I'm gonna go. Because I've been pissed off all day. But luckily, as much as I might have had a borderline worthy meltdown, it actually led to self-care. It actually led to self-care. So I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna get angry and it's just gonna lead to me taking care of myself, not mad at it. Really not mad at it. But anyway, I gotta go. Hopefully, when it comes to the landlords, I'll have some news on what the fuck is actually going on. Like, because these people are pissing me off. Like, I just want to know what's going on. I don't need to stay here. Fuck, I don't even need to leave here. I don't need to stay or leave. I just need fucking clarity. And the more that I'm not getting that clarity is the angrier that I'm getting. But again, if that's the risk that gang stalkers want to take, then that's the risk they want to take. It's their responsibility, not mine, because I warned everybody what was going on and why it was happening. Anyway, I gotta go. Unless there's something else I gotta say. No, I think that's it. I'm not sure though. You know what? It's going to be one of those occasions where I only remember what I'm supposed to say until after the live's cut off. But I'm going to cut it off for now because I've got stuff to do. Okay. I'm fired up now. I got to put that in. I got to got to put that somewhere. You feel me? I'm fired up, boy. I got to put that somewhere. But anyway, I love you guys. Peace and blessings. More readings are coming up. So be on the lookout for that, okay, on Empress Justice Tarot. But Marsha the Great, out, okay? Take care. Bye-bye, my darlings.